So in your kit, you will get either this fabric or this fabric. This is all cut from the same fabric. This is actually an upcycled curtain fabric that I've rescued from going into the bin. So we only had a limited amount. We can't use the whole lot on applique, so that's how I have divided this to go into the kit. In the project that I'm doing now, I'm using these roses. So it's an option, either you get this or get this, you can't choose. But possibly I'm going to show this on the show, so how that looks like, so you can see the picture of both. Okay, so please don't be alarmed at the shape of this. So basically we're going to have the fabric here and the fabric here is what we're going to use for the handle. So cut out your applique, rest of the fabric you might have to join a little bit because this may not be long enough for handle. So we're just going to use this plain fabric for a handle. Okay, here is the handle we need to prepare. Basically from the upholstery fabric, I folded in half and then brought the edges into the center and folded again. The same way I've done it with the denim as well. And then you place them together and sew on either side. So you could either use this side as your top, or you could use this, whichever way you fancy. You'll also notice that the yellow fabric, upholstery fabric, may be a little bit short. It really doesn't matter if it's about an inch or so short, because this handle is plenty long enough. Trim that extra off, or you could attach another piece of fabric here and make it longer. It's entirely up to you. So go and prepare this. Basically we're just gonna place one on top of the other like so, and sew on either side. So that is that one, and then you have two pieces of, this is the gusset. Basically I've made a center join here, and if you can see, that is the center join, and then I've sewn on top. Don't worry about if it's not too neat, this is upcycling, and it all adds to the character of the bag. Okay, so that's how it looks. Okay, we have got the pockets here, and what we're going to do is attach the zip to one of the back pockets and kind of make a little collage together with one back pocket and one front pocket. So I'm just going to show you that in just a minute. Before you do the zipper pocket, you just need to make sure the straight line of the pocket opening should align the top of the fabric like so. So you might have cut it cross, just make sure that is like that. So we're going to go and put the zip like so and sew an 8 stitch on the zip. And when it comes to this one, again, we're going to make sure that the top is sort of straight line. And then take your bias binding, cut up how much ever you need, like so. And then we're just going to fold, this is cotton bias binding, and fold this into half. And we're just going to go and place this in the center and sew on the top, so that kind of finishes neatly. Okay, here is the one of the pockets that I have sewn in the bias binding. We had an extra lining, so I have taken it quite close, so this kind of hold the extra flap and it won't kind of come into when you're using the pocket. Normally you don't get this in jeans, it's only a patch pocket, so as long as you sew on the top it's going to be fine. Now I have folded the bottom like so, and trim off the excess because this is too much of extra fabric, along the same lines, guidelines of the pocket, and then trim this extra bit off like so on either side. If this is a patch pocket, just make sure that you have got enough fabric for your presser foot to sew the binding. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach the binding on the side here like so, and we're also going to attach the binding like so. So I'm going to trim 1/2 inch extra here, 1/2 inch extra here. Like so. And we're going to fold both the edges, both top and bottom. So basically we're just going to fold the fabric into half like so, and then you're just going to leave a little bit extra. When you do that, just fold it over and then fold it in, and just sew a straight stitch, starting and finishing with a back stitch. Again, even before you come to the end of the pocket, you need to make this fold, otherwise it will become very difficult to fold. So open this up and then fold it like so. This will be like a cross fold. And you fold it in and then fold it down. So you can see the pocket is sort of neatly finished, and that's how the inside looks. And we will be sewing to the edge of the pocket. So this is how you finish all the pocket edges, folding on both ends. Cotton bust binding makes it easier to fold and do that. Okay, here is the pocket that we are going to use. And before we attach the zip to the pocket, we're just going to sew a zigzag stitch at the edge, simply because I've got this pocket here, inside pocket, which is kind of will be in the way. You don't have to do this process if you've got just only a patch pocket. You can just go and attach it without the zigzag stitch. So I'm going to turn my stitch to the widest and the length to the smallest, and towards the edge I'm going to place it like so. Okay, here I have done the zigzag stitch. Basically that's only just to cover the raw edges. We're going to place the zip on top like so. There's different ways to do it, and the zip kind of sits exactly to the size of the pocket, slightly larger than the pocket, which is fine. So we're going to sew an edge stitch towards the edge of the zipper tape. So here is the zipper tape. Now what we're going to do to this bottom is just going to fold it and make the iron crease so we can sew the sides with bust binding. So now I've just really trimmed the edges so it's neat, and I've folded the bottom of the pocket. Following the same technique that we used before, we're just going to fold the edge like so and fold it in and sew the bust binding to the pocket. Again, when you come to the bottom, just leave a little bit extra and fold it in. It's important that your bust binding is creased in the center. Fold it in like so and fold it under. So basically that's how it looks, and just do the same on the other side, and the inner pocket is done. Okay, here is your black suede piece. This is the salvage, and basically this is how your pattern is going to fit in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into half and then do the applique backing the polywad in, and then cut the panels, because if you cut the panels first it's going to be really kind of messy to do it right. So I'm just going to cut this into half, and there's about an inch all around extra, which is fine. Now I'm going to take the polywadding like so, and if it's a little bit extra, don't worry, if your fabric is that fits in fine. So I'm just going to place a few pins and make some tentative markings, so just a little bit, so we know where to place the applique, and it's not going to go beyond those lines, and then that's the top here. So I kind of have got a marked outline. With this applique, as I explained it before, you will either get the roses like I'm doing here, or in the kit you will get a big flower. So you will have to adjust this in here. If you're cutting up something else from your old fabrics and stuff, that's absolutely fine. So there's no backing paper, there's no embroidery applique paper or anything, because this is upholstery fabric. It's fine to use the way it is and try and use as less material as possible. So I'm going to place it like so onto one side. I'm not really sure yet what I'm going to do with this, but we're just going to go and sew on the outline first, just a normal stitch, and then maybe come and do some kind of quilting sort of effect later on. I'm just going to go and sew this flower here first, and I've just got my stitch length to medium, about 3. So we're just going to go and sew. You can do your zigzag stitch if you wish, but I'm just doing a straight stitch. Okay, so that's how it looks. I've done the outline stitching, and I've also gone on sewn in a few places with the leaves and stuff. Changed my thread to the denim thread, like a yellowish thread to match the applique. So we're just going to go and sew some random lines so the wadding will stick to the fabric. There's no hard and fast rule how you're going to do this. So I'm just going to go near the leaves. This is why we need to take this fabric a little bit extra, so when we cut, it will be cut to pattern. So basically I'm just going to go in this little area between the leaves, so as if there's lines of stitching coming through. We're just going to go and sew like that. And again, going from the same place, we're just going to sew a lot of lines going through in the same direction, but possibly a little bit apart from each other. Okay, here is the applique that we have done, and basically if you can see, I'm just going to lift it up so you can see there's 3 lines coming here, 3 lines there, and it's kind of going in a swirly effect. And if I just hold it close, it's not really neatly sort of zigzagged or anything. It's raw edgy, very raw edgy, but because of the print that's already there in the fabric, it just kind of works really fine. If you wanted to, you could add a little bit of color. This is basically just a plain marker. You could use fabric paint, you could use a normal marker. This won't leave color, so I'm just going to use this one. You don't have to do it if you choose a fabric which already has got the colors that you like. It just looks nice, that's all. And now I've got cut out my lining. So place your lining like so, because we wanted this to come towards the edge, and apart from 1/2 inch seam you don't really need much. So place your lining, and now you go and cut the panel all around. That way it will be as per pattern, and it will not go here and there, and you won't be kind of short in one side and long in other side. That's the reason we need to have excess all around, so we can cut this properly. Okay, here is how we have cut this. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to take the long strip of fabric with the center join, which came from our denim, and make a center marking. If you take your lining and fold it together and make a notch mark and transfer that notch mark here, we're just going to place the join to that notch mark, and placing like so, we're just going to sew the denim strip to the bag. So just go and do a 1/2 inch seam. I'm not going to show this on the camera because this is just a seam. If you wanted to, you could put a stitch at the edge first so the fabric sticks onto the poly wadding, and then you could do this. It's entirely up to you how confident you are in the level of sewing that you're comfortable with. Okay, let me go ahead and do this and come back and show you the next step. Okay, so here is the panel gusset that we have attached. Now what you need to do, you will notice the side gusset is a little bit longer than you need. This is done on purpose, simply because if you're using poly wadding, if you start in the center and go forward, you will have poly wadding to deal with later on. So the way to do it would be just leave a little bit extra, go all the way around, and then trim off the excess at this stage, which would make it a lot more easier to sew. So I'm just going to fold this in like so, and then trim this excess off, so that kind of forms a straight line. Same way, I'm just going to fold this in into a straight line like so, and then trim this off. Okay, so there you have it. Now what you're going to do is take your other half of the suede fabric, and then we are going to go and pin this all around first, because the shape of the bag needs to correspond to the shape here already that's been sewn in. Sometimes if it goes a little bit here and there, then you kind of are not going to have a perfectly shaped bag. So it's important that you pin it first, turn over, have a look. If everything is fine, then you go and do the stitching. So here it is. I have pinned the other part of the bag, so we're just going to turn it over and see whether this is sitting properly. It's advisable that you maybe tack it, because having pins like this, you could really hurt yourself if you don't know how to deal with pins. So basically I'm just looking like so, and then that looks fine to me because it's sort of sitting where it needs to sit, like so. Okay, so now we turn over, go and sew a 1/2 inch stitch all around. Okay, here is the lining, and you will see there's 2 notches on the side, which is in your pattern. Make sure you make that notch. And the zipper pocket, we're going to place it about 1/2 inch away from, probably 3/4 of an inch away, and line it like it is straight towards this side, and just go and sew an edge stitch all around, including the top of the zipper tape. So that will make your zipper pocket and also a patch pocket. Once that's done, we're going to take the zipper tape and sew in like so. So if I zoom in, you will see what I mean. Sew in the binding like so, and we are just going to go fold it in on the side and just sew here and here. That should finish the zipper tape at the end. And for the beginning of the tape, I'm just going to show you what to do, and a very simple way of attaching this with bias binding. Okay, sorry guys, I forgot to mention one thing. Before we attach this, we need to attach the pockets. So just make sure when you do your pockets that this will be maybe smaller than the panel that you have cut in. Now I'll have to adjust it this way because I quite like quirky, uneven sort of pockets. So I'm going to have to remove stitches from here and then go and attach the pocket, and then go back and seal this. So sorry about that, I totally forgot. So you need to do this before you go ahead and sew the panel to the gusset. Okay, going back to the zip, this is one end of the zip that we're just going to fold it and sew here and here at the edge. And the front of the zip, when you put this, and because this is cut from a continuous roll, this will just escape, so we need to secure it. The easiest way, and not making too bulky, would be to just keep your bust binding, take enough to cover both sides of the tape. Go like so and just sew a stitch on either side, and that should actually cover it properly. Okay, here is the zipper that basically fold it into half and then cover the zipper tape. If you wanted to, you could just fold it like so and so as well. That will look neat, but I'm just going to leave it like that. So when your zipper is being used, it's kind of quite secure at the bottom. If you were using already cut length zipper that's already made up, then you wouldn't have to do this. But because this is a continuous zipper, we just need to secure at the end. Okay, so moving on to how to attach the zipper, take your bust binding and fold it like so at the end and keep about 3/4 of an inch to maybe, almost an inch away. And then again, this line is from notch to notch. So I'm just going to keep it away like so. And then again here, I'm going to fold it 3/4 of an inch away from the edge. So like so. So take 2 of these bust bindings and I'm just going to trim the excess off. So what we're going to do with this tape, zipper tape, all we're going to do is going to go and bind the edges like so. Just going to trim this extra bit off, making it the same size as the zipper tape, and we're just going to go and sew like this. When it comes to the end, obviously you haven't got an end there, so already the folded side is just going to go like so. So the extra zipper tape will just be like that. So we're going to go and put this tape on either side of the zipper tape. Let me go and do this and come back and show you the next step. Okay, so here is the zipper tape that I have just sewn in, and if I can just show you what it looks like in the close-up. So on either side it's been binded with the bust binding, and so basically we're just going to place it 1/2 an inch away and center it so equal amounts on either side, and go and sew the edge of the bust binding to the lining. The same way we're going to do this side as well. So we're going to go and do that first, and then to the other side of the lining, again marking to the same point, we're just going to sew this as well. Okay, so here is the zipper tape that's sewn into the lining. So we're just going to go and place it like so. So taking the same mark from notch to notch, we're just going to sew into this as well. So that way you get a neat finish like that, and then we have to go and attach the gusset. So now for the lining, we're going to go and attach the gusset. So basically take your gusset, place it like so, and we're going to attach to one side of the lining like so, and then we're going to go and attach to the other side as well. When we do this, we just need to make sure that we have left for the second part, maybe towards the pocket part, we've left about 5 inches of gap around this area here. So I'll show you once I attach the gusset to both layers of the lining. I'm just going to come and show you the gap that I've left, because we need to turn it and then join the handle later on. So here is the gusset that's been attached to one side. So we're just going to flip this over, and if you start with the edge on one side, the excess will be there on the other side, and that's the best way to do the lining, because then you won't have an issue of pinning it. But just to make sure, make sure the center marks aligned, and then go and pin this out. If you're a beginner, instead of unpicking all the seams, it would be advisable to do so. So this is the area where we leave about 5 inches gap at the bottom. It doesn't matter where you leave, bottom would be helpful. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to approximately at the bottom area, I'm just going to make a couple of notches. It doesn't have to be particularly in the center, As long as it's kind of at the base of the bag, that's fine. So here is what I'm going to leave the gap. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this and come back and show you what this looks like. Okay, so you can see the zipper tape is there, and that's how it looks. And we've got a little gap that we've left from notch to notch that we made earlier. Now we need to put this inside the bag and see how we're going to finish this together. So whatever is the excess fabric, from the seam to seam, just trim this excess fabric off. So whilst placing the handle, when you place it like so, just make sure which one you want on the top. Either you want the yellow or the denim fabric. So I want the yellow on the top, so a 1/4 inch away from the edge. I'm just going to place it here. We don't need 1/2 inch seam when it comes to sewing the top. We can do with 1/4 inch seam. So I'm just going to place it like so. Do the same on the other side. So I have attached the handles on both the sides. Now what we need to do is basically turn over. If you want to, you could just do a tack stitch and remove your pins away, then it's not in your way at all. I'm just going to show you what to do next. We're going to go and attach the lining to this one. So here is the main part, and there is the lining. So we are going to go and bring the lining in. That's how the lining looks. So the pocket is inside and you can see the zipper. So basically we're just going to bring the outer side of this lining and leave the rest and match it to the area where there's the gusset. So start with the gusset and go and pin this all around. So match the curve to the curve, and then literally go and sew in all the way around, just closing everything, because we're going to turn it inside out through the opening we have here later. So let me go and pin this and then come and show you the next step. Okay, so here you see I have pinned it all around. All you have to make sure is there is raw edges this side and raw edges showing this side, and then you go and pin to the mouth of the bag all around. I've just left a little opening here. I'm just going to pin it. So go and sew a 1/4 inch stitch. Once we've done that, we're going to turn the bag inside out, make some tackings, and the bag will be ready. Okay, here I have sewn in all around. Now turn to the little opening that you have left at the bottom of your lining, and we're just going to turn everything inside out. Then you will see your lining will come out like so. So before we close the lining, what we need to do is we need to go and catch the lining from inside. So let me just push this first, just make sure everything is kind of fitting properly, and then we can do the next step. So I have pushed the lining inside and it's sitting neatly, although you can't see it properly because the opening is quite narrow. What we need to do is do a top stitch, otherwise the lining will start showing through from here. So what I've decided to do is push this in like so, and then sew at the same line where your top of the bust binding is. So it sort of matches the whole theme. So what you can do is either you can take that line and go straight across, or you can just follow the line of the bag. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. I've turned over the bag, and before we close the opening here, what we need to do is go in and match the bottom of the lining and the other side of the gusset of the lining and this side of the gusset of the main fabric, and just tack it there till about 2 or 3 inches like so. So the bag, when you are trying to get something out of the bag, it will all hold in place and it will not, so the lining won't come out. So that's one thing. I'm just going to place a pin like so to do that. So once you've done the inside stitch, fold over the lining and the gusset fabric, put some pins and do a top stitch there to there, quite at the edge. This is quite standard that you do in all the bags if you're closing from inside out. And once you've done that, do the top stitch, and basically your bag is ready. So let me go and do all the sewing bits and come back and show you the finished product.